And so now, with everything crashing down, and Thancred hopefully exercised, yeah, hopefully we were actually able to get La Habrea out of him. Yeah, but like, how are we gonna get out of this fire? This is definitely not safe. And then, yeah, out of nowhere, Biggs and Wedge sentient Magitech armor comes out of nowhere. And he's like, need a ride? Yeah, he's blinking like, yeah, I'll give you a ride. Yeah, thank you very much, sentient suit of Magitech armor. And so now, with La Habrea / Thancred in tow, the race is on to get out of here. Yeah, because the explosions are coming our way. Yeah, sorry guys. You're gonna have to just stand there and take it. We're getting away, you're not.
And so my conquest ends, Cid.
That it does. Yeah, you lose.
And ashes.
And there he goes. All the explosions consume him. Hopefully they won't be consuming me, though. Boy, that fire's getting close. Yeah, this is just like the end of Star Wars Episode 6. This is almost like the end of Return of the Jedi, where Lando is trying to get the Millennium Falcon out of the revamped Death Star before it explodes. And then...
Think.
Oh yeah, this is a bad time to be in a bit of a dream sequence, because we're trying to run away from disaster here, Hydaelyn.
Warrior of light, beloved son. The darkness hath fled before the unclosed brilliance of thy spirit.
Well, thank you.
Yet it lingereth still beyond the sight of men, in forgotten corners of the world. In the depths of the abyss yet resideth the Dark One, watchful ever, till this evil be cast out. Never shall the world know aught but a passing peace.
And that's
Yet,
never good.
for the present, a gentle light shineth o'er the realm of Eorzea.
Which means we pretty much did everything we could do.
With thee at its heart.
As well as everyone else who plays the game.
From sparkling moat shall it swell to glorious sun, and all the world shall bask in its warmth.
Are you going away? Yeah, looks like Hydaelyn's going away. Yeah, like, don't go!
Blessings and joy be upon thee.
Well, thank you, but I wish this wasn't the last time we would get to cross paths.
And be as a beacon of hope for Eorzea and the lands beyond through all the days of thy life.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we're still trying to escape from the imminent disaster of the explosion that was chasing after us while we're riding in the sentient suit of Magitech armor. So, can we indeed escape from impending disaster? We do not know yet, because we are still awaiting my arrival, hopefully to safety. So, with the leaders of the Eorzean Alliance, as well as Cid and the Sons of the Seventh Dawn on standby, waiting for my return.
My lady, all Twin Adder units have fallen back to the outer perimeter.
The Flames have completed their withdrawal, General.
And the Maelstrom?
Admiral, all hands accounted for.
Well, it's good to know you guys all made it. But where am I? What hath become of me?
Still in there.
I know, Admiral.
Cid, has there been no word?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Damnation!
Don't start worrying
He's
yet.
going to make it. I know he is.
Yeah, leave it to the
Ida
optimistic
is
Ida
right.
to always
We must have
maintain that
faith.
positive attitude.
Cid, can they not be evacuated aboard the Enterprise?
That's a good question.
That adventurer and the Scions are as the warriors of light reborn. We cannot abandon them to their fate. Not again.
I wholeheartedly agree, but flying into the midst of that would only add to the fireworks.
There must be something we can do.
Yeah, everyone
Please,
seems
Mother
desperate.
Hydaelyn, please light his way through the darkness.
Well, last I checked, Hydaelyn was actually leaving
Look into
me.
the light, my child. If thou would see thy companions returned safe to thee, reach out to them now.
Yeah, Hydaelyn's talking to Minfilia now too.
There!
You see me? Can you see me?
Oh!
Yeah, here I come! Come on, make that right hand turn! Get to that finish line! Get to the finish line! And... Yes, come down the blaze of glory! Safe!
Yay! Our warrior of light.
Yes! The hero returns!
Yeah. Well, it looks like our sentient suit of magic tech armor has had it. Don't worry, I think he's okay. I said think he's okay. Because, yeah, who knows? La Habrea may still be in there. Hi, guys. Yeah, Sun's safe, and so is Thancred. But we'll have to check to be absolutely certain that he is indeed purged of La Habrea's influence. But for now, we can celebrate our victory over the Garlean Empire, for we have indeed brought them to ruin. And that brings true satisfaction and a smile to my face, even though you can't actually see me smiling. So, in now what's left of Castle Meridianum and the Praetorium, it's now time for everyone to take stock of what's happened.
You almost got us killed that one time, remember?
Now, we both know that was your fault.
Ida and Papalymo, leave it to them.
Mind your horns there, Manbo.
Mayhap when you mind your manners.
And so now it's up to Alphinaud to put everything in perspective.
Thancred is no more. I doubt we can say the same of La Habrea. And even if we could, we know that he is not alone. Confounded Ascians.
Indeed.
Their god may be unknown to us, but their zeal is unquestionable. Suffice it to say, it would be folly to assume that they no longer pose a threat. Nevertheless,
well, he's still satisfied by the result. Yeah, Thancred has indeed been checked, and he is alive and well, and free of La Habrea. So, that means all is well with the world. All signs of the Seventh Dawn are now all right.
We have won, however ephemeral. Do you see, Grandfather? Our first step towards realizing the dream for which you gave your life.
Yeah, I've always thought that he was referring to Archon Louis Sois, who's mentioned a few times in this game, that Archon Louis Sois is Alphinaud's grandfather. That's what I'm just speculating, but there's never been actual proof to validate this. And so now, the three leaders of the Orzian Alliance will now make their own statement.
Friends, the dread night of Imperial tyranny and Ascian machination is ended. A new day now begins in Eorzea.
True to their name, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, along with our champion, have delivered us from darkness.
Let their shared victories serve to remind us of our shared history. And let their bravery in the face of adversity inspire future generations.
Indeed it
Doubt
must.
not, the realm will need bravery in the days to come. Old rifts threaten to divide us within our walls, while hordes of beastmen claw at our gates. And though the Black Wolf be slain, the rest of the pack remains. Yet no foe need we fear, so long as we stand as one.
Touché.
So long as the Scions stand for peace.
So long as our champion stands fast. For there
I love that
exists
smile.
no adversity over which we may not jointly prevail.
No longer can we turn a blind eye to the suffering of our allies.
No nation stands alone. If one should fall, so shall we all.
And that can be
Eorzea
said
is
for our
shared
own
home.
world,
For
here in
any
the real
one of us
world.
to know peace, so too must our neighbor.
Just as we join in solidarity before you this day, so too shall our grand companies be joined henceforth, to strive not only for the good of mere nations, but for the good of all the realm.
And that's how it should be.
Change will not come overnight.
No, it will not.
I foresee a day, not so very far from now, when the lines that divide our lands fade, and all of Eorzea is one.
It has been but 5 short years since the Battle of Cartano. 5 years since the advent of the 7th Umbral Era. No victory, however sweet, can wash away our bitter sorrows. No triumph can reclaim those we lost. Yet do not presume you honor them by dwelling on the past. It was not the past they fought for. You would repay their sacrifice by looking to the future.
That's very well said, Admiral.
A future united, as the warriors of light united in the champion.
Now is the time for us to rise as one, bearing all of Eorzea on our shoulders.
5 years ago, Eorzea bore witness to the end of the 6th Astral Era. Now, the 7th Umbral Era draws to a close, yet we come together not to glory in its end, but to mark a new beginning.
A pistol there, Admiral? Really?
That on this day,
by the light of the crystal,
Eorzea ushered in a new era.
The 7th Astral Era is come!
And thus is ours a Realm Reborn!
Indeed it is. And that's definitely cause for cheering, applause, and celebration. Yes, our 96-day journey is finally over. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have done it. After starting on March 28th, no, actually it was March 26th, and now ending today, 2 days before, no, yes, a day before Con Bravo, on July 17th, we finally get to bring this game to a close. So we get to take now a look at some of the various shots, including the members of the Garlean Empire, their generals, Raitaten, Livia, Nero, and of course, Mr. Darth Vader himself, Gaius. But why should we be recognizing them? We just beat them all! Yeah, we should be giving them no love. Nor to La Habrea, who possessed Thancred and made him as his own, and gave us a whole bunch of freaking nightmares. Yes, why should we recognize their imagery when all we want to do is honor the heroes who made this journey possible, who allowed for our successes throughout the times we had? Like the twins, Alphanode and Alice. Yeah, Alice we only saw once, and to be honest, the first time I came through this game when I saw the traitor in the Immortal Flames before the fight against the Freet, and once we discovered that Thancred was possessed by La Habrea, what I was genuinely believing to occur was that I was actually expecting, given Alisaie's attitude, that we would actually, once we beat Castra Meridianum, we would take off Livia's mask and actually reveal it to be Alisaie. That's what I genuinely believed would happen, that it was Alisaie in disguise and we were forced to kill her. Yeah, not the greatest thought, huh? So yeah, remember all the way back to day 1 when we met Mother Miyun, who helped us get on our path into Gridania. She was definitely a great assistance to us in the early days of the game, especially also in directing us for the purposes of being the emissary for the celebration over at Mikelo's amphitheater that resulted in Edie having the vision of the Battle of Cartano. And why are we back over here with Guardian Empire again? Yeah, Nero, go away. You already had your time and we beat you to a bloody pulp, whether you liked it or not. Yeah, and more. Now we have to deal with Livia, aka Zenobia. Yeah, I said it before yesterday, I'll say it again. Zenobia, the way she and Livia are portrayed, that they are so full of it and so full of power that they generally believe themselves to be emotionally connected to the leader, the brains behind the operation. Which I never understood, quite honestly. I mean, why would you fall in love with someone who is trying to lay waste to the world, even if you are sympathizing with them? And to be honest, I don't remember this particular image. Yeah, this particular individual is not easily identifiable to me, to be honest. I mean, we can see their image in the distance, but it's no one I recognize. Actually, that could be an image of Odin, who we have not yet seen. Yeah, in fact, I think that was Odin. In fact, I don't know where this happens, but I think there is an option where you can actually go into a boss duel with him. I've never been able to validate this for myself, but I could always look into it. And there's Mr. Titan, who, for some reason, and it still boggles me to this very day, how the heck do you have hair when you are made of solid rock? I mean, I know a rolling stone gathers no moss, but this is ridiculous. Yes, definitely a confusing image to say the least. It always has been for me to look upon Titan and wonder how the heck he has hair. And once again, more images of evil from Raitatan Sas Arvina, the Gabranth of Final Fantasy XII. Yeah, if you've ever played Final Fantasy XII, you'll know that his Gabranth's nation was assimilated by the Arcadian Empire, and he joined up with their army and became one of their top generals. And he was actually an accessory in a notorious assassination at the start of the game. As we now start to look at images of the Science of the Seventh Dawn, including Urianger, our Master of Wisdom, who always received information from the Science of the Seventh Dawn. And there is Momodi, who is the equivalent of Mother Miyun. She runs the Adventurers Guild over in Ul'dah, and she will actually be someone we get to show off in extras. Because, yeah, the main part of this Let's Play is finished, but there's still a lot to show off. And there's the odd couple, Ida and Papa Limo. Always good for a laugh. Always enjoyable to listen to Ida, not so much from Papa Limo. You gotta wonder how those two got stuck with each other. They certainly were the odd couple of the Realm Reborn. And I do believe that is a Freet that we're looking at, the first primal that we had to fight in this game. Certainly gave us more than our fair share of trouble. Not unlike a number of other primal duels we had to take a few tries in order to claim victory, but we did. And Garuda, it actually took me 2 days to actually beat Garuda. The first party I went with was unsuccessful, and you never got to see that, so I had to go through again, and somehow we were able to beat her on the first try. Which I don't quite understand, but that's how the game worked, apparently. And there's the Elder Seed Seer, Kane Senna, such a enchanting and wonderful, peaceful spirit of a young lady, definitely worthy of a lot of respect and admiration from the people of Gridania for her, as well she should. She does indeed deserve it. Definitely a peaceful mind in a world where that wasn't necessarily the case. Miss Hataru, who oversaw the inner workings of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Yeah, we were first introduced to her when we came to the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, and she was one of the Scions that we had to rescue back on day 91. Yeah, we first met her on day 19, we rescued her on day 91. And Ashtola definitely made her contributions known. She allowed us to be able to get access to Titan, and she was also able to be part of the force that was able to rescue the captured Scions of the Seventh Dawn back on day 91. Definitely someone who is, in mindset, very tranquil, I have to say. Which cannot be said for General Ralban. Certainly a rough and grizzled body, a rough and grizzled face, given all the scars that were on his face and neck. I mean, just looking at the scars on his neck, you gotta wonder how he did not suffer any jugular lacerations and end up bleeding out, ever. I gotta ask that to Square Enix, how the heck did you pull that off? And then there was Odd Couple number 2, Biggs and Wedge, names that date back to Final Fantasy VI, when they were accessories to helping out that game's empire to brainwash Terra for their schemes. They ended up getting vanished into thin air by Teratau. And then the Admiral, Merlweb Bluffeswain, whom we got to represent as part of the Maelstrom Grain Company. Certainly doesn't look like your typical Admiral, and I still find it hilarious that on that Day 91 scene where we show her that the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are alive and well, that she couldn't show more of a shocked expression. Still my favorite scene from the game. And yeah, Thancred, I'm sure, is more than relieved to be free of the influence of La Habrea, happy to be alive and well once again, and now can return to his regular duties as a Scion of the Seventh Dawn and not getting brainwashed by the Asians. And this would be Baderon, who's the runner of the Adventurers Guild in Limsa Lominsa. Yeah, he's someone else we're also going to get to see in extras as well, so stay tuned for that, because this guy's certainly a laugh and a half with his text. Certainly we'll be getting a lot of humor out of this guy. And Satana Nanamo Ulnamo. Certainly the most adorable little ruler you will ever see in any video game or even in real life. I mean, how can you not be enchanted by her humorous Lalafell charm and her just adorable smile? How can you not just enjoy that? And of course, the man we helped to get his memory back and played a crucial role in our success at the end of the game, Sid von Garland, who was able to escape from the Guardian Empire and ended up becoming a priest unwittingly, but he was able to find his way back to his self. And then we get to take a look at some awesome shots that have been taken by the Square Enix people, including this coastal shot at La Nosea, where we get to see some of the native wildlife walking around. And then over in Gridania, a beautiful shot here. I think this is the Amdapor Keep. This is an extra dungeon that's available to you once you get to level 50. We haven't shown it off yet, but it's something we will show off in extras. And of course, the desert plains of Ul'dah. Although we didn't really get to see much in terms of deserts, there was definitely enough wilderness in Ul'dah, kind of like Australian outback wilderness, to constitute it actually being considered a desert. Yeah, because it was definitely more outback than Sahara, was Ul'dah and Thanalan, as far as the way that they were designed. That's something that I definitely noticed and observed over the course of this process, was that Ul'dah and Thanalan, as far as desert, are definitely more Australian outback than the Sahara. And if ever you get the opportunity, you can find some sexy dancers with cat ears, and for some reason, and I don't know why, I'm guessing that the Japanese are just so enthralled with Playboy bunnies that they make it a point to incorporate animalistic ears into exotic dancers. That's just something that I've noticed throughout the years, throughout various video games that I've played. And this would be the South Shroud of the Black Shroud, near the border between the Black Shroud and Thanalan. It's a swamp area that we had a chance to go through, I believe it was around day 45. And then we get to look on the outskirts of Lemsolominsa. It was certainly a beautiful image, getting to see all of the Mediterranean-inspired architecture that was used by Square Enix to create Lemsolominsa. Certainly not the Mediterranean you expect to think of when you think of a city of pirates. You expect it to be more British. And over here, place we only got to show off on day 31, I believe it was the Wolves Den, where you get to do player versus player duels against fellow online gamers. A new location has been introduced for more player versus player action in the last few days. Not something I have yet to show off, but I might show it off in extras if I ever get the opportunity to do so. Of course, the conditions would also have to be right. As we now get to look at the giant turtles, the adamantoises that walk around Thanalan. And more of Thanalan as we look at the Sunken Temple of Karn, which was the second side dungeon that we got to access through Nedrick Ironheart, a necessity in being able to complete the Grand Company hunting log that we got to do. Certainly a challenging place to say the least. And I believe this is the Wanderer's Palace, the third unlockable dungeon that we got to... No, actually it would have been number 5. I only got to show off 5 of them. This was the one that was accessible at level 50, and the one where the tank was giving me a hard time just for not fighting the way he felt I should be fighting. And I believe this is also more of Ul'dah because I recognize this geological formation, the way that the rocks are standing out. No, actually this isn't in Thanalan, it's actually Sastasha, the first dungeon we went to, because yeah, I recognize the docks now. I just had to look at the docks to realize where exactly we were. And this would be La Nosea, a lot of the windmills that can be found. I believe it's somewhere in... I think it is Middle La Nosea where these windmills are located. It was something we had to run by while we were gaining access to Lower La Nosea, where Costa del Sol is. And then there are the Beast Tribes, representing La Nosea, the Kobolds. We met them back on, officially, first of all through fighting Titan, because Titan is their primal. We also actually had to help them out on day 80. And I believe that this is also La Nosea. I think this is one of the outlying settlements. I can't tell if that image at the top of the screen is like a hot air balloon or something. Because it certainly looks like it is floating in midair, doesn't it? And this would be in Mordona. This would be near a lot of the crystalline formations. And that shattered dome over there is also part of the Mordona landscape. We haven't really gotten to show it off yet. And of course, where it all began, Gridania, all the way back on day 1. The city I had to start through because, of course, starting out as a Lancer, this is the mandatory starting destination, was Gridania. And certainly, it is one of the reasons why I love this game so much and why I was so inspired to do this as a Let's Play. Okay, this is the Wanderer's Palace again, I do believe. Because, yeah, I recognize that opening square, because we can see... Oh, I don't know if you can see, but I can see the Tonberry. Yeah, those little green creatures with pointy, stabby knives that I think they first came out in Final Fantasy VI. I'm not quite sure, because I know I've seen images of them in 6, 7... I think I've also seen them in 10 and 13. I think also in 12 as well. recognize this particular area. But I do recognize this place, Costa del Sol. Yeah, this is where we had to do errand after errand for the company of heroes in order to complete the craziest banquet tasks you will ever do, including getting insanely malodorous cheese and a bottle of wine that could only have been made before the calamity. And I believe this is also back in Gridania and then the Black Shroud. Because yeah, that would be a Gubu, one of the infamous giant creatures made of organic compounds. And hey, there's all the Sons of the Seventh Dawn, and it looks like they're having a feast just for me. The only problem is I don't actually get to take part. They're just all jumping around, excited, enjoying themselves, especially Ida, who just can't sit still. But hey, they're having it from me, and hey, I wouldn't want any other way. And so yeah, that's the last of the shots, but now comes the crazy part. This credit roll now goes on for quite a long time. So while I'm taking this opportunity, I will make it a point to address the following. As I mentioned already during the course of these credits, there will be extras, which means this Let's Play is not over. The main part of it is, but we still have a lot more to do. In the fact that because I showed off the start of the game through Gridania, then that also means that I have not shown off the game at the start of going through both Ul'dah and Nimsalominsa. This is something that I'm going to intend to cover in future episodes, in the extras of this game. Because the way I see it, this is not a proper Let's Play until I show the starts through all 3 cities. Because once you get to the point where you're going through Sastasha, then that's pretty much where the 3 stories lines merge at the 3 different story points. All that would really be left to cover, other than that, would be to show off what happens when you go to the other 2 grain companies. Like, I chose the Maelstrom for this Let's Play, but of course I would also have to show off what you would do when you join the Twin Adder, and also when you join the Immortal Flames. And then beyond that, I think there would only be one... there would only be one other place where you could actually do a scene where it may actually be different, and it would be back, if I'm thinking about this correctly, it would be back on the scene that would be day 91, when the Elder Seedseer introduced me as her dear friend, and I'm thinking that, depending on which because of course I started in Gridania, I'm thinking that the Elder Seedseer addressed me in that scene strictly out of the fact that I started in Gridania, but I can't help but think that if I was to start in either Ul'dah or Nimsalominsa, that a similar situation would occur where where Admiral Merlweb Blofuswain and where General Ralban Aldin would also recognize me in such a way in the scene, and not just the Elder Seedseer. That's just my perception on it, and that's what I'm thinking, but of course, I won't really know until I actually have the opportunity to go through the game again and be able to find out for myself if that is indeed true. If it is indeed true, then I would show it off in extras, but boy, that would take a long time to get 2 more avatars through. Because, of course, getting through 1 avatar and taking nearly 4 months to do so would be hard enough. But of course, I made sure to make it a point to get through, limit my time, because, yeah, as much as I wanted to, as I'm sure you noticed, the episodes in this Let's Play were a lot longer than they normally are. And the main reason for that strictly is of the fact that because there is so much content in this game, I was essentially forced to make my episodes twice as long as I normally would. But with my future Let's Plays, that will not be an issue. I'll be able to go back to normal timing for my episodes, and as a result, things should get back to normal. But as far as my next Let's Play is concerned, well, you'll just have to wait until tomorrow to find out what that is. Because the next Let's Play I'm actually going to be doing will be a blind Let's Play. Yeah, it'll be my second blind Let's Play, and the first one since last fall when I did The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess as a blind Let's Play. But you'll just have to wait to find out to see which one I take. So, while I still have time, I really can't think of anything else to talk about right now until the credits are done. So I'll just stop talking for a while until all the credits are finished. And then we'll get back to this because, yeah, even though the credits are rolling, end scenes are not yet finished. So be back in a moment, and I'll just let you enjoy the wonderful music of Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Alright, now, this is something, unfortunately, that I'm going to show you, but for some reason, I don't know why this is here, if for no other reason than the fact that if you did not do the original Final Fantasy XIV, if you didn't play it and complete it, this is actually supposed to be a roll of honor of all the people who completed the original Final Fantasy XIV. Because, yeah, there were two versions of the game. There's a Final Fantasy XIV, and then there's this, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. And for some reason, and I don't know why, they did not allow you the option to be able to go and have your name placed on the Roll of Honor if you beat Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Which means, even if I wanted to have the opportunity to show you, unfortunately you will not see EDSS's name on this Roll of Honor because of the fact that, for some reason, they won't be allowing people who completed Final Fantasy: A Realm Reborn to be able to move on, and get their name in the Roll of Honor, which really sucks. So yeah, we'll just skip this. Now, there's nothing further to show that, other than it's just the Roll of Honor for people who completed Final Fantasy XIV, and not Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Don't ask me why, that was not my decision, that was all Square Enix. Yeah, it's really easy when you can blame someone for making a stupid mistake. Which in this case it indeed was. And of course this theme music is of course the one that I often refer to as the Olympic Anthem knockoff because it does sound so much like the Olympic Anthem. And considering that the Winter Olympics were 5 months ago, of course, it definitely instills in the minds just of what could have been, of just how awesome the Olympic theme is, and how much the this Final Fantasy theme sounds like it. Yeah, for some reason we're trying to do some sort of knockoff of Reservoir Dogs with the nicknames. Yeah, you'll miss the housing and you'll miss the headshot. Yeah, I've never actually seen Reservoir Dogs, but I know for a fact that the characters are given nicknames based on colors in that particular movie. And so now as the credits come to an end, it is time for us to play out the remainder of the cutscene for the end game. Because yeah, there's still quite a bit of cutscene left. And if you thought we were done, no way! Still a lot left to go through. So, back over at the base of Castra Meridianum, where everyone's getting to talk about everything that has occurred. Edie is trying to take it all in. Looking upon the 3 leaders of the Orzean Alliance certainly talking happily, as well as the Scions of the 7th Dawn as well. It all seems well with the world, so everything should be fine. However, yeah, that would be the echo going into effect. That would be the echo, and it is taking us somewhere that we really don't want to see. Remember we purged Thancred of La Habrea? Well, this is where he ends up. Yeah, there is a dark version of Heidelin out there in the world. Yeah, where there is light, there must also be darkness, yes. Yeah, harsh and stark reminder of what is indeed to come for those who chose to move on beyond the main story. So hopefully we get to see exactly. Okay, no, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, come to there, Edie.
What is it?
Say what needs to be said, and then.
What was that?
That roar. It can't be.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, we think all's well with the world, but then.
There's no time to spare.
Where is it coming from?
Yeah, well, we're about to find out.
Dread tidings, chaos and carnage! It is an abomination! A primal has awakened!
Here we go again. You know, we can hear it roaring. It's out there somewhere. It is out there somewhere. So yeah, in parts unknown, there's La Habrea. Yeah, show yourself. Show me your face, you vile fiend.
Cast Bahamul move.
Yeah, Bahamut stirs? That's not good. Yeah, there's not just 2 of them. There's 3 of them. There's 4 of them. Yeah, we saw at the end what the Asians were doing. The Reckoning, yeah. Mention of the Reckoning here. Yeah, there's 4 of them. But there's also a whole lot more. And this is pretty much the entire Ascian race right here. Yeah. The Zodiark. Yeah, it almost looks like the League of Shadows from Batman Begins. And thus did dawn break on a Realm Reborn. But where there is light, there is always shadow. So that's the end of the main cutscene, and thus the end of the main endgame. However, we cannot bring it to an end officially until we go into the chamber of Lady Minfilia here at the Waking Sands, and go ahead and speak with Lady Minfilia as soon as we get the opportunity to do so. So in we go. And there she is, accompanied by Alpha Node. Lady Minfilia. The Archons have conducted a preliminary investigation into the origin of the roar that rang out during the celebration. Their findings strongly suggest that a new primal has appeared. The roar generated a distinctive wave pattern in the ether, a pattern observed only once before in history, 5 years ago to be precise. I should like to think a mere coincidence, yet we cannot discount that possibility. Well, I trust I need say no more. At great sacrifice, we have delivered Eorzea from the threat posed by the Prime Empire and the Primals, and thereby secure peace. We cannot well allow the realm to be plunged into chaos once more. You have given all for our cause, risking life and limb on I not know how many occasions. Yet our struggle continues, and we need you now no less than before. Please continue to stand with us, and together we shall safeguard the future of the realm of this very star. And so it is that we complete the Ultimate Weapon Challenge. Get the 2064 Gil. We also get an armor identification key and the achievement known as Warrior of Light for successfully completing the main game. So now, the next time you want to speak with Lady Minfilia, it will now go into a new main story that is now available to you. There is a second main story, and just a few days ago, a third main story was introduced. So even though the threat of the Guardian Empire is now long gone, there is still much to be done. And so in extras, EDSS here, along with my first avatar, Mathia, as well as, of course, aforementioned 2 new avatars, will take on the game starting in Ul'dah and Nimsalominsa to get those 2 perspectives completed, and then hopefully I can build them up and grind them up enough where all 4 of them can be involved in various forms of extras. So as far as the main story, as far as the main part of this Let's Play, that is now finished, and I want to thank all of you for sticking with me through to the very end, because believe me, this was not an easy task, it was not an easy journey. But once I found out about being a Lancer in this game and how it was able to connect me to my high school and our team named the Lancers, there was no doubt in my mind that no matter what it took, this was going to be a Let's Play and I was just going to finish it. And now that I have finished the main story, we can now move on to my new Let's Play, and we can also move on to extras, which will not be shown every day, but I will make it a point to show those off on a regular basis from this point forward. So, at this point, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the main portion of this Let's Play of Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. And when I join you again in extras, we will start on the journeys in both Ul'dah and Nimsalominsa to show you how those journeys begin up to the point where we get to Sastasha. So, until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Novora Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.